Welcome back to K24 Alpha Jiri. All right, so now we are talking about women and leadership. And this is a great day to have this conversation, seeing as it's Monday. So, of course, if you've been online over the past few weeks, you cannot have missed it. There's a company called Media Focus on Africa, and they've opened up the application process for a competition for a series, a TV series called Miss President, which basically seeks to show that it is possible for women to take over leadership in this country, to inspire women to take up more leadership positions. And of course, this morning I'm joined by one Harrison, who's going to be talking to us more about Miss President and what your vision is for this competition going forward. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
All right, first of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself before we go on.
So yes, Harrison Manga is my name. I work at Media Focus on Africa, and we use media mainly at Media Focus on Africa to cultivate social change, and this is in a variety of areas, leadership, peace building, sexual and reproductive health rights, and all manner of things.
Yes.
But the main thing is we use media as a platform to do that. And people would understand this because media is such a powerful tool. It's given its mass nature, you're able to speak to so many people. When you take popular platforms like TV series, like the drama series on radio and stuff, it's very entertaining, but very educative at the same time.
Yes.
So basically, that's who I am, and that's what I do at the moment.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Miss President. Basically, it's just, like you said, it's just one of those, the main aim is to inspire women and girls to take key roles as major players in the country's leadership. So first of all, one thing that I realized and that I've read is that Kenya has the least representation of women in Africa, in spite of the fact that the two-thirds gender representation is actually enshrined in the Constitution.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I have some figures here. Female MPs only make 22% of the parliament, 31% in the Senate, and only 6% in governance. So we're doing very badly, especially compared to countries like Rwanda.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, in the region, we are at the lowest. As per the Constitution, we should be doing a minimum of 33%. But then people tend to make a mistake and say 30%. But actually, one-third is not 30%.
Yes.
One-third is 33%.
33.3.
Yeah, 33.3. Yeah. But if you round it off, it's 33%. Yes. Yeah. So we are definitely doing much, much worse than Rwanda, than Uganda, than Tanzania. And the reasons for that are, of course, our culture and how we define what a woman can and a woman cannot do. So as you would know, gender roles is something that is culturally constructed. So it's what you see happening at home, it's what you see happening in school, it's what sometimes you hear in church or anywhere else that people go.
And
it's
also workplaces as well.
And even sometimes what you see coming through even what you watch and what you listen to. So gender is generally culturally constructed.
Yes.
So we want to deconstruct it also. And one way of deconstructing it is putting it on mass media, like a television show, and showing people that women can actually do some of these roles that we do not necessarily associate them with.
All right.
So that is the whole point of Miss President and putting it on television.
Right.
And just to add, like you said, we have a constitution that requires that we do something that we haven't done, and that is try to equalize. And I like the word equality because equality is very wide. It's encompassing. So gender is just one element, one area where we can do equality, but we can ensure equality in so many other areas. When you're talking about ensuring that persons with disabilities have the same opportunities like the rest of us, when you're talking about socioeconomic justice and fairness and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact is that when equality is attained, then everyone stands to benefit from an egalitarian society.
Yes.
All right. So, you've talked about the construct that is gender roles, which, it's not set in stone, but it's a cultural construct, especially in this country where the patriarchy is so deeply entrenched. So, even when you're coming up with the idea of Miss President, let's take a look back at, our history and the roles women have taken in cabinets, because in any successive government, it's like maybe one or two women being allowed in the cabinet, and even then they are given ministries, safe ministries like heritage and gender and culture. So what do you have to say about that, and what is the impact on that kind of you know, like what I said, we have been allowed and then we're given safe ministries. So what kind of impact do you think that has had on young women and girls?
I mean, it reinforces the stereotype, really, that women can only do certain things. I think for me, one of the most interesting examples is when I was in university. Even when we used to have the University Students Association elections, you'll find our female colleagues not necessarily going for the chairman position or the secretary general. You know, they would seek the other positions, you know, secretary of health or of education or something like that.
The nurturing,
you know,
positions.
So when that happens, even at the national level, it basically reinforces the stereotype of who a woman is and what a woman can do. And that is really why we want to challenge this, because in our show, you will see women handling the so-called difficult tasks. You know, you will see women handling challenges around national security. You'll find women handling challenges around, you know, violent extremism, for instance. You'll have women handling challenges around the economy. So basically, this is an opportunity to actually begin to cause people to ask questions about what they perceive as what women can and what women cannot do. Because really, at the end of the day, what does a president do? A president, I mean, the president of this country doesn't have to do everything, but he just needs to provide the leadership. If there's a crisis in the security sector, we expect him to provide leadership. If there's a crisis in the economy of the country, we want leadership from him. When there's a crisis in health, we want leadership from him. So even a woman can do that. It's just an opportunity that we need to give them, and then they'll provide the leadership. So we need to challenge the stereotype. It still comes back to deconstructing our perceptions and our views of the world and in terms of what the different genders can do.
All right. I'm glad that you brought up the issue of deconstructing, because, you know, if something is so deeply entrenched in the culture, it will take a while to kind of dismantle those views and for people to unlearn harmful views they have of certain things and learn more constructive things of looking at the world. So, you know, Miss President is a good start, but do you have any other plans going forward to reinforce the message passed in this show?
Absolutely. So this is, by the way, just one of the many things that we've done. I was just talking to you before we went on air about something we were doing last year with the last elections. So we were working with you know, groups of women and helping them prepare for the elections. And actually, just as a by the way, we managed to get in 9 fresh faces elected at the MCA level across the country.
I should work with you. I might have a few political ambitions.
No, you should consider this. But no, there's more to be done, because beyond the television show, we'll actually be having a lot of community engagements. Because it's one thing for people to watch something on television and enjoy it. It's not always the case that they will make the dots, connect the dots between what is on the entertainment show that we put out and the message that we want to get out. So we'll be doing a lot of community forums where we'll be discussing this show, and we'll be looking at different episodes and just discussing. And in that way, you help people to really begin to process what they're doing. So this will go on for the next 2 years. And then hopefully we even take this to radio. And then just move around with it and ensure that between now and the next election, we are having a very serious conversation about what women can and what women can't do.
All right. So another challenge that I've read that a lot of women who enter politics face is not just the views of men on how, you know, the place of women, but the views of their fellow women as well, because there's a phenomenon called internalized misogyny, where even as a woman, you actually believe these reinforced sexual notions about the place of, you know, the notions about the place of the female sex. So what do you have to say about that, especially in this context of this show?
I think first of all, for me, it's just to point out that I would never be surprised about, you know, even women having or holding such views. Because at the end of the day, we are products of this society. And you are born into a family, into a society that has already set, you know, the rules and the spaces for you to operate in. So these women will, you know, that's how the reality has been constructed. So for me, that's why I think going back to the beginning and really trying to show people that this reality about what the different genders can do is something that has been constructed. And so we can construct it. And the only way you counter perceptions and the only way you counter stereotypes is doing something real. Showing somebody that it actually can be done.
Rather than
and I
just
think,
talking about it.
So when, so let the images speak for themselves. Let people see, you know, these women doing great things. And that in a way, begins the process of people unlearning.
Yes.
Because also a process of unlearning what we have already learned.
Yes.
So I think this is the way to go. Let's not begin to want to try and say, how come women hold this kind of view, we should hold a different kind of view. But these women are product of this society.
Yes.
They're a product of the socialization process that we all go through.
From childhood.
Yeah,
yes.
From childhood. You know, they grow up being told what they can and what they can't do. I mean, not so long ago in this country, even education for girls was something that, many families would not prioritize.
Yeah, it was considered optional.
Yeah. So we are all victims of, and by all I mean both genders, we are all victims of how our society has generally defined what our roles are. So it's for both of us. It's for the men just as much as it is for the women, because we both need to unlearn and accept the reality that the different genders can do just about the same things.
Yes.
It's all a matter of opportunity that we need to provide for everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've seen also on social media, especially with this new boy-child phenomenon, that it has been said that with the empowerment of the girl child, the boy child has been forgotten. What do you have to say about this?
I mean, I think, again, this is perception. And for me, the best example of this is when the results for, believe KCP last year were released. And apparently, in the top 10, there were 8 girls and 2 boys.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, there was a furor about, the boy child has been neglected.
Yes.
But actually, when you dig deep into the entire performance, you realize that the boys outperformed the girls.
Yes.
So for me, it's an issue of perception. There is no fact to back it. There really is no basis for it. But again, you do not counter that by making arguments.
Yes.
You counter that by showing people the reality that obtains. And for example, you've just quoted numbers here. In the National Assembly, out of 349 members, you have only 74 women in that National Assembly. Out of 47 governors, you only have 3 elected female governors. Out of 47 elected senators, you only have 3 elected female senators. Out of 1,450 members of the county assemblies who are elected, only 96 of those are women.
Wow.
And we can quote numbers in almost every other sector of this country.
Even the corporate world, how many female
Absolutely.
CEOs are there?
Absolutely. So that's how you counter perception. You counter perception with facts and reality.
Yes.
And the facts and the reality on the ground is that we need to make the opportunities equal for men and women across board.
I'm usually speaking my language. I'm really enjoying this conversation. Okay, let's talk about Miss President.
Yes.
What form will the series take?
So it will be a reality series. So that's why I'm talking about. We'll be seeing them handling challenges around, various issues, security, economics, and stuff. So we are setting up a series of opportunities, questions, problems that then we will look at these, participants solving. So it's a reality show.
Yes.
Half of it will be pre-recorded. The other half will be live.
Wow.
It's a total of 26 episodes.
Okay.
So for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
On national television, this will be going on.
All right.
Alongside it, of course, we'll have a lot of social media events and campaigns as well, just so that the conversation really does, dominate the space for the 6 months or so when we will be on air. Absolutely. So it's a reality TV series.
Oh, this is great.
Yes.
So how many contestants are you looking for?
We are looking for 50. And 50, the magical number 50 is we would love to have at least 1 contestant from each of the 47 counties. And then there are 3 counties where we have a bit of a specific focus. That's the counties of Kwale, Mombasa, and Kilifi. So from those 3 counties, we'll have two contestants each. Okay. But we are looking at having 1 contestant from every county in the Republic of Kenya.
All right, so why the focus on those 3 specific counties?
So because part of what we'll be doing with Miss President is work around countering violent extremism. That's mainly the focus of Kwale, Mombasa, and Kilifi. And just to say, if I hadn't already said, this work, of course, is as a result of support from the European Union.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's also important to put out there.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So, of course, the applications opened on the 5th of June.
Of June,
so
yes.
what has been the reception so far?
Very good, actually.
Yes.
I think we already passed the 30 mark point in terms of applications.
Wow.
We're expecting to do much more, over the next 1 month. We have, a strategy of how we are getting the word out there. And we are very thankful that this morning we've had this chance to be here at K24 Alfajiri to just put the word out. But so we have people on the ground engaging and letting women out there to know about this opportunity. So we're expecting to have lots of applications, and we're expecting that the process of deciding the 50 will be quite a difficult task, but one that we are happy to be involved in.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and maybe if you allow me just to say that if you go on to mediafocusonaafrica.org, which is our website,
yes,
you will be able to find directions as to how to apply for this opportunity.
So what are the what's the criteria?
The criteria.
For applicants? Yes.
So number one, you have to be someone living in one of the 47 counties. And by living in, I mean, say if you're a resident of Kisumu but you live in Nairobi, you cannot apply as a Kisumu resident. If you are going to apply as someone from Kisumu County, you have to be living.
That has to be a primary residence.
Yeah, so it has to be a primary residence. So the first qualification is that you have to be living in one of the 47 counties. The second is that you have to be a woman. This show is only open to the women. Number three, and the most important for us, is that you have to be someone who is already doing work in your community.
Right.
We have to have evidence of what you have been doing in your community. We have to have evidence that people actually know you, and they can vouch that actually it is you, and that you're doing work in your community. So those are the three main requirements. You must be a Kenyan, of course. You can't apply for this if you're not a Kenyan.
Yes.
So you must be a Kenyan, you must be living in one of the 47 counties, and you must be doing work within your community from where you come.
A proven track record.
A proven track record of someone who's already engaged in their community.
All right, and what about age?
Age, we are flexible, so we have anywhere between 21 years and 70.
Wow.
Yeah, 21 because that's the legal age for anyone who wants to be a president,
yes,
if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, so between 21 and 70.
Okay.
And we're looking for all sorts of women. So all sorts of women.
So it's open to,
it's open.
It's equal opportunity.
Absolutely.
Whether you're a person with disabilities.
In fact, we encourage persons with disabilities to apply.
Great.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to a question that has really since I saw this,
yes,
I've been thinking about it for a very long time. So you will have women aged between 21 and 70
yes,
applying for this.
Yes.
But do you have any long-term plans for mentoring younger women? Because again, I believe that when you're trying to show women that they can actually take leadership positions, the work must begin when they're much younger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's true. Just in the last year, we've had quite a lot of engagement at university level with students there. So that is an engagement that is going to continue. We are exploring the modalities of engaging with the schools as well. So that conversation is already beginning.
Right.
But just to answer you, yes, we have a plan to engage young and younger women as well. So that's a plan that's in place. We'll be taking Miss President to some of these places. It becomes a very good icebreaker for conversations around women and leadership.
Great.
So we like I said, between now and the next 5 years, this is something that we're really going to be going at very strongly and very in a wide manner, reaching out to every corner of this country.
All right. Yeah. So in the next 5 years, because we have elections, let's say in 4 years.
4 years, yes.
Do you believe that the work that you're doing, especially as Media Focus on Africa, will have been sufficient to kind of change minds in as far as the decisions they make once they enter the polling booth?
I tell you what, I mean, this is a long-term engagement. There are no quick wins and no quick fixes here because we're dealing with entrenched perceptions, attitudes about, gender roles. So we're here for the long haul.
Yes.
But I can tell you that you can make, steady progress. I just give you the example of the work we did last year. And out of a group of about 83 women that we were working with, 9 of them actually got elected.
Wow.
So it may look like a very small percentage, but you can actually make some progress. So I'm expecting that with the next elections that we'll be having, I'm expecting to see, as a result of this work, of course, and plus work that is being done by other people and other organizations out there, I'm expecting to see an incremental, growth in the number of women who are getting into leadership positions. Even though we're still doing badly, the 2017 election was an improvement.
Much.
Slight improvement, if I may, in terms of the
the
number of women getting elected. Yeah, so you have the
before,
first three female governors, you have the first 3 female senators. We had an increase in 7 of women elected into the National Assembly. So the progress is slow, and we have no illusions about how quick this will move. But for it to move, we need to engage. We need to be having these conversations. We need to be constantly challenging these perceptions about the gender roles. Right. So it's really something that has to be done. The progress will be slow, but we have to do it. And that's how we see it,
Absolutely. I completely agree.
All
right, Harrison, thank you so much for coming through. I believe that this is really important work that you're doing. Because like you've said, we can talk about it all day long, but people actually do have to see it in practice.
Absolutely.
Women taking up leadership positions. All right, and also if you're a Kenyan citizen living in one of the 47 counties, and you're a woman aged between 21 and 70 years old, and especially if you're a person with a disability, you are very much encouraged to apply. All you have to do is go on www.mediafocusonafrica.org and try and you can see the instructions on how to apply. Applications close on July the 27th of 2018. All right, that is a great conversation. Miss President coming to screens near you. But on the other side of the break, if you want to see how you can become an entrepreneur in the world of fashion, you don't want to miss this next discussion. We'll be right back.